Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 50 of the Everything Motor Racing Podcast. I hope you've had a nice weekend. If you're anything like us lot, we are tired. Incredibly tired actually after a bloody long weekend watching MotoGP. But It's been an interesting race weekend with the Mandalika circuit with the crazy Indonesian fans. The word I'm looking for. Passionate. There you go. So passionate about the sport. Like, yeah, it was mental. But yeah, it was episode 50 of the podcast. Jacob, who's number 50?
Wow. Would have been Jason Dupasquier, wouldn't it? But obviously no longer with us. R.I.P. Jason.
So. Yeah. God rest his soul. Cameron's not with us, as we said last weekend, because he's getting married. So we've subbed the Scottish man out from another Scottish man in the form of Ryan Lilly. Hello, Ryan.
Hello. Yeah, you got a Scottish man without the accent.
Yeah. I
Fake.
had a hard time you were believing you're Scottish. Yeah, you're like a fake Scotsman. Yes, Ryan is very much integrated into the industry, so kind of like the perfect replacement for the Scottish man. Maybe even better than Cameron. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, Cameron. Don't kill me.
He's going to come back a married man and angry.
Yeah, like, what the hell, man?
But he did successfully marry, so she didn't run away down the aisle or anything.
He hasn't run away from him yet.
Or he could just be faking it and sent us all just the ring, but he got jilted anyway. But
yeah, you never know. But yeah, congratulations to Cameron, as we've said. But yeah, we had it was a pretty good race weekend. I gotta say, it was like a lot of waiting this morning. I gotta say, wasn't really sure if the race was going to go ahead, to be honest.
Yeah, I had my doubts. Like, I was just that hour gap.
Oh, I wanted to go back to bed bad.
I was riding the struggle bus. I went through 3 Red Bulls in the end.
Jeez,
Other drinks are available.
Yeah, it's funny actually. I went and bought a load of Carabao energy drinks, which is the drink that Somcat Chantra is sponsored by. So I'm going to take full credit for Chantra winning the Moto2. I'm just saying.
You got him into MotoGP by buying a Carabao.
That's it. I'm paying your wages, so don't forget where you came from, Chantra.
Yeah, good spoiler for Moto2 there, but you know.
Fuck it. But so obviously we had the long awaited, I can't think of my words. You can tell I'm tired, Jesus. But we had the long awaited release as well of MotoGP Unlimited this week, which that was fun, wasn't it?
First half of the week, my God.
Yeah, but you watched it with the freaking dubs, didn't you?
Yeah, I powered through, and then discovering that there was a 4K version that wasn't dubbed that released simultaneously after I'd watched it, I was ready to kick somebody. Yeah,
but that one was also dubbed. It was only like 2 days after that they actually got rid of the dubs.
No, that 4K one was there from the off and not dubbed.
No, it wasn't, because I tried both, trust me. But yeah, what did you think of it, Ryan? I know you've not finished it yet, but what are you thinking of it so far?
It's pretty good, you know. It gives another kind of angle and kind of aspect on the championship, especially for new fans. Obviously, we kind of know what goes on behind the scenes. You know, we're involved every night, every minute of the day. We're on social media, staying up to date. So to kind of be able to follow riders around and teams around and follow their stories and their journeys and their struggles, obviously. One rider in particular with the shoulder, is good, to be honest. Me and Jacob was talking in the week about, you know, how it compares to the F1 series, and I think there will be over the kind of coming weeks and months as more and more people watch it and the comparisons between the two series kind of come in. It'll be an interesting debate on who prefers which one. I do think Drive to Survive does top it, but I think it's also a very unique and very good thing for MotoGP to kind of introduce to their fans, new and old.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Drive to Survive as well also has 4 years practice.
Yeah,
the first season was by far the worst of Drive to Survive. It was the most real, but it was the least. Like, everything about DDS for me has like the production, the filming.
The production is phenomenal.
They know how to make a story out of
Fuck all,
It's the
basically.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think if MotoGP can grab the magic of Drive to Survive, but the reality of MotoGP, because they don't need to add drama to MotoGP, they'll have a winner.
Yeah, the drama creates itself in MotoGP.
Look at Maverick.
think-
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, like with me, honestly, like I understand why, like you lot, for example, would compare it to Drive to Survive because Drive to Survive is the benchmark.
Oh,
You know,
sure.
it's raised the level of F1 massively. You know, F1 was pretty much dying out, to be honest. And obviously, then they got bought out by that American company. I can't remember the name
Liberty
of.
Media.
And that's it, and it's pushed it to higher levels, and Drive to Survive has helped that a lot. But I think with MotoGP, yes, like Drive to Survive is kind of the benchmark, but I think MotoGP's doesn't need to try and be Drive to Survive, if that makes sense.
No,
I personally think it needs to be its own kind of thing. Obviously, it is separate to it, but I do agree with you on the fact of maybe dramatize things a little bit because I think some things were a bit too glossed over. You know, like the whole, for me, like when I was watching it, the Marcus thing was important, of course, but they kind of glossed over a little bit. They didn't kind of go into too much detail. And like, even for me, like when I was watching it back, some of the production, I was like, well, there you could have done something a bit more. Something here you could have done a bit more, added a bit more dramatics there. You know, like when Marcus, I think in the opening episode, he was going, oh, and that crash in 2020, sorry. He said the line, my crash in 2020, but then just it carried on.
Yeah,
it didn't
showed
go,
the crash.
it didn't cut instantly to the crash and go, this is what happened, and then link back, I do think the production can be improved, and this is from a guy sat at home who's got no experience in production, but I do think it was good. I liked that I think Alicia Spargo is going to gain a lot of fans off the back of it.
We're seeing Alicia what we as big fans of the sport know a bit about what's going on behind the scenes. We're now seeing what we all knew about Alicia already.
Yeah.
Like for me, it doesn't need to be a Drive to Survive, but it can learn lots of lessons from Drive to Survive to be better for itself,
Yeah, I think maybe that's the benchmark. But like with Alicia, I got some messages because I said, he looks really good, and people are like, oh no, he's a bit of a dick. He's like angry and all. I'm like, that's just Alicia, dude. Like you can tell.
It's not anger, it's passion.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like his like frustrations and stuff when he gets angry at Paul, for example. Those aren't.
Yeah.
Of course, he's getting angry.
They're calling his brother a dick.
Yeah, but like, it's not Alicia being a twat. That's just Alicia being so passionate about the sport and passionate about his family. Like, you can tell he puts 110% into absolutely all aspects of his life, from his cycling to his racing, to his family, to everything. And that really did come across for me. I don't know about you two.
Yeah, this is why I backed Alicia for years, because this is why he deserves to be in the sport, because he sleeps and breathes it. Some people just don't have the commitment, and Alicia's far from that.
Yeah, definitely agree.
All right. Yeah. I mean, and they covered Vinales as well, which was quite interesting. I know you've not finished it yet, right?
Do you know what? That pissed me off so much. They just they could have done so much more with that.
Yeah, like they did. They covered it to a degree, but they could have gone a little bit deeper. I think
just
with it,
a surface scratch. Like, I don't know whether it's just because it is aimed at new people and they don't want to go into too much detail. But for me, the way it fucking they could have done so much more to show like the true meaning of a MotoGP team and how it works behind the scenes. That was a perfect opportunity to look at it and say, "Oh, this is what the struggles are. This is not all sunshine and rainbows." But instead, they didn't bother.
I think they should have gone back a little bit with it, because they had clearly access to old footage. I think they should have gone back and bolstered at why Maverick Vinales at Yamaha was so important and why the relationship was failing. Why it was so important that it was failing. For example, gone back to the fact that Jorge Lorenzo had won titles with Yamaha and that Maverick Vinales had stepped in the boots of Jorge Lorenzo, with the expectation to win a title. And then his first 3 wins in 2017, I really think they should have kind of built that up, because from a new fan looking in, you go, oh, he's just a guy who's a teammate to a guy who's winning races. He's there, but it's like Bottas. Whereas you know, but, you know, they didn't build it as being, you know, he's, you know, and like they could have even gone back further and shown how good he was in Moto 2 and like really showed how good he was and the expectations and why the expectations for Maverick performing was so high.
Yeah.
They just didn't do that, which is a critique.
As a new fan, you would never know that Maverick is a world champion.
No, you would have no
idea. You just
idea.
think he's just some guy who's mentally fragile and fucked off halfway through.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But it's so much deeper than that. I do like that, you know, they showed his family side to him and they showed the side that you can tell he cares so much about his family, and I really did like that.
Yeah.
Slightly different angle, but it'd be interested to get your thoughts. How much influence do you think teams and, you know, PR and that have on how they kind of shine a light on certain stories?
100%.
Yeah, probably quite a lot, to be honest.
The fact that they showed their press officers in quite a lot of the episodes says to me that, you know, I think they were throttled slightly.
So I wonder if how deep they go into the stories. I wonder if, you know, that's influenced a lot through the teams. Go, yeah, you can do this, but that's it.
Yeah, you're probably right, to be honest. Like, I can't imagine Yamaha wanted too much focus on Vinales leaving, because obviously it paints them in a bad light as well. Like, the fact that Vinales straight up said to Lynn Jarvis, I think you're fucking with the bike, and they let that in.
Yeah, and they didn't kind of build on that and to say why they're fucking with the bike.
It's just, I think there was a good chance Maverick probably did say something about it afterwards, and then Yamaha were like, nah, we're good.
I think Dorna, obviously, they had a big influence in it as well. And maybe Dorna kind of were like, can't have that in there because, you know, sponsorships and things like that, you know, because they've got ties with big people in the industry. I do think a lot of it was cut out that could have been in.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a whole year's footage. Imagine how much they had to cut.
Yeah, like, to fit all that in 8 episodes. Like, Drive to Survive is 10 episodes. Put that into 8 would have been very difficult, of course. And I do think, like, the things were missed, you know, like Petrucci, you know, you saw nothing about him.
I think one thing they should have done was focus on teams like Drive to Survive do as opposed to chronological order. I think that would have been better.
I agree, yeah.
Like, that's one thing DTS does fucking nail, is the fact that you're there and you get to see the team as a progression.
Yeah, and how over the season things develop.
Yeah, like it almost felt like watching a slightly extended season review.
Yeah, that's why something like that with Drive to Survive, it puts you within the team. It puts you in, you know, certain team members' shoes and gives you a proper feel of what it's like to run an F1 team, the highs, the lows. And like you say, it kind of felt a little bit with MotoGP Unlimited. It was just kind of you watching an extended behind the scenes, you know, video that goes out on MotoGP.com on a Monday or a Tuesday. Here's what you didn't see, sort of thing. But
a giant ICMI, like, in case you missed it.
Yeah, it's got its good points, and there's definitely points that I think can definitely be improved.
It's a good base, I think, but they need to polish it.
Yeah, like you said, I think they've built really good foundations, and like that's not me critiquing it either and saying it's bad. I genuinely thoroughly enjoyed it from start to back.
Oh yeah,
sure. It was really, like, genuinely really good. The way they handled some topics were really good. Obviously, the Jason Tabasquier thing, that was that was horrible to watch. To be fair, episode 3
handled with real class, like.
Yeah, they real class, and like showing like Aleix crying and stuff like that. I didn't even realise he broke down in tears about it, you know, and they showed the riders crashing out during the race and going, you know, this is because they did this, like this, and they left that in, you know, with the 1 minute silence before the race, and Ainaya, you know, was like, you know, my head wasn't in it because of that. And I really did like that. And some of the shots were really good, but they handled that with real grace. And yeah, I like that a lot. And the fact that, you know, Maverick Vinales spoke about Dean Verta Vinales as well in there as well, I really liked. There was a lot of stuff that tugged at your emotions in there.
I think there was more good than bad.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I think it's about 65-70% there of what it could be.
Yeah,
So if there's another season and it pushes on, like I know there already is because Alicia put a story the other day that they couldn't stop following him around. He was in the pool in Indonesia.
Yeah.
But like with that, if they can just improve it slightly, a couple of tweaks here and there, but you can't expect them to get it perfect first time anyway. Like it's something that ambitious, that big. There's no way. So if they can improve, make it not a Drive to Survive clone, but take the best elements of that, insert it into their own, I think we are a winner on our hands.
Yeah, I'd agree. I really, like I said, thoroughly enjoyed it. I think, like with everything, the first time you use something, it's not going to be perfect, is it? And I think second season will be a lot better. I really do hope that they kind of add 2 more episodes to make it up to 10.
Yes, it was a bit short. That was my main critique. I work from home and I watched it all in a day while working.
Yeah, like the fact, it's pretty difficult to cram 19 races into 8 episodes. This year up to 21 races into potentially 8 episodes. It's just not going to work. I think 2 more episodes would be better. And the way the season's going already, like, wow.
Yeah, like this is 2 episodes right here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, geez. But yeah, it was phenomenal. And onto the actual main show of the MandalikaGP. As we said, I think all of us are pretty tired after sitting up all night watching these races.
I gotta be honest, I'm somewhat underwhelmed. Like it has been pushed as being amazing. They said, the track layout's going to offer some brilliant racing, all this, and then you end up with a washout track coming apart even after resurfacing. Just an entirely, it didn't go as planned.
No, there was a lot of hype around it. Like you say, MotoGP's back in Indonesia for the first time in 25 years. Brand new circuit, new challenge.
Same old shit.
It felt very underwhelming, and I know that there is people out there, who are involved in the paddock who definitely feel the same. Having that main grandstand that looked half full. Tickets were apparently really overpriced.
2.5 weeks salary for an average Indonesian, wasn't it?
Yeah.
God, that's within reason. Like on minimum wage, that's the equivalent of Silverstone costing 800 quid.
Yeah. Which is obscene. I think they need to do something to kind of fix that, because you saw on social media the explosion. Like Alicia Spargo obviously put his thing up about him throwing his helmet into the stands after the race, and he gained 200,000 followers on Instagram over it, and all the riders received so many social media engagement and stuff, so you could tell it was a massive thing over in Indonesia. The president was there, and so for them to create all this hype and buzz around an event and then overcharge at the gate. I know it was a big I'm taking this figure from Taylor McKenzie. So if Taylor's wrong, then it's his fault. But potentially a $3 billion project. So I know that they have to recoup their money back somehow, but you can't.
A full grandstand will ensure the health of an event for years to come to make your money back.
Yeah.
You don't
it's
need...
a long-term
It's almost as if they foresaw it being a bit fucked and they just want to make it back in 1 year.
But my issue is World Superbikes last year was a great event, but it was a washout. And that was at the start of the monsoon season. We're still in the monsoon season now. We're just at the end of it. And no one at Dorna was like, you know what? Shall we just put this later on in the season?
Yeah, we got Asian flyaways, for fuck's sake, later on in the year.
I don't understand. Let's go to Qatar, Asia, then all the way to America, and then back to Europe. That doesn't make sense. Why not Qatar, America, Europe, then Asia, as part of the Asia tour at the later end of the season?
No, we've had Thailand later on in the year to compensate. Indonesia easily fucking could as well.
Yeah, and then it means you're not carrying freight all across the world, because everyone goes about global warming and stuff like that, and climate change.
We don't have electric planes, do we? Fucking hell.
Exactly. So it's I just don't understand who's making the decisions and who thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, it's not even like who remembers the second race of the year? If it was the opener and it was a washout, you think, okay, they just really wanted the first event of the year.
Yeah, but like
the second event.
Yeah, and like a lot of riders, it wasn't like riders stayed over in Qatar. Like some did, like Joshua Watley, and then went to Indonesia. A lot of riders went home. So then you go to Qatar, you go all the way back home, like to Spain or Italy or England, and then you go back to Indonesia afterwards.
Baffling.
Like, instead of like when they go to the Asia tour at the end of the season, they stay in Asia for like 6 or 7 weeks, which I understand is a long ass time to be staying there. But I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. Maybe there's somebody a lot wiser than me who can tell me why the decision was made to put the race at this time of season, but it just doesn't make sense.
Money, money, money.
Yeah. What do you think, Ryan? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, looking at the official figures, 102,000 in the door from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a lot of money to, fly around the world, like you say, freight, personnel. The event didn't justify it, in my opinion, but it is what it is. I'm sure they'll learn from what happened. Because, nobody wants a Silverstone repeat or, in the world of F1, Spa last year. And I think hadn't the woman with the bowl come out, then maybe we would have been close. Maybe we would have been close to that.
God, that was fucking weird.
That was so funny. All the riders.
But Jesus Christ. Seeing her, and the fact she was just splashing down fucking pit lane.
Yeah, and like all the riders like Ralph Fernandez were pissing themselves, and then fucking Fabio with his bowl.
Oh yeah, like for me,
and he dropped it.
The main issue with this race for me, though, like as a generalization, I could have forgiven all of that if the racing had been electric, but it wasn't.
No, it's combustion powered.
Fuck you. No, it's just.
Well, it was electric as well. There was lightning.
Oh, for 2 champ. No, it's just the racing didn't justify the fuck ups. Like the racing in Qatar was amazing in all 3 classes. If this had happened in Qatar, you'd be like, well, at least the racing was good. But
yeah, I think the track genuinely opens itself up for, maybe it was the conditions, for riders to just run away with it. You saw Foggia run away with it, Chancha run away with it, Miguel Oliveira 4 seconds up the road. Maybe. Yeah. The track doesn't open itself up. There's not too many overtaking places. Maybe in Moto3 there's quite a lot because they're nimble bikes, and that you can overtake anywhere on a Moto3 bike. Like I don't know. I mean, last corner at Catalonia in MotoGP is a spectacle when Rossi does it. When Efrain Vasquez does it, it means nothing because it's Moto3 and you can do it.
I think Garcia passed on every corner.
Exactly, but whereas in MotoGP, unless it's pretty much that really tight pit at the end of the lap, it's pretty much where you can only go, and like there are a few places, of course, as we saw, but it's not.
No,
it's not an overtaking track.
Like, I wouldn't be upset if we didn't return. Put it that way.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, I don't know. Like, I like the spectacle of it, and I definitely enjoy the social media engagement. But yeah, I don't know. I'm in an R about it, especially the fact that it's a brand new track and it's already destroyed itself and needs resurfacing again for the heat, third time. Yeah, I think it is to do with the heat, to be fair.
It's gotta be. It's no, it don't happen many other places, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but there was bloody holes in the track. Like Neil Hodgson for BT did his parade, like his lap on Friday evening after all the FP1 and 2s, and he was driving around the track and was like, yeah, there's holes everywhere.
Mental, man.
This is a Grand Prix track.
Yeah, it's not GP level, is it? Like nothing about this weekend was GP level for me, and that's the major issue.
Entertainment was good with the bowl lady, as you said, but
they've just proved we don't need to put like a massive 50 grand show on. Just send a lady out with a bowl. Happy days.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Imagine that on the day of champions at Silverstone on the Thursday. But no, here she is, the bowl lady. Every time she just uses the pot, water and pestle, just every time she squishes, a cheer comes up for the crowd.
Did you see, was it the meme that Dios Miller posted about it?
Yeah. Fucking hell. I love that account. It's so good.
Fabio, basically, if anyone hasn't seen it, Dios Miller AUS posted a picture of Fabio with the bowl, and it's just like, crash, turn 10, Fabio's bowl.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was some good racing. But, and like, to go into Moto3 quick, like, Mario Aggi on the front row was a surprise. And Moreira, of course. Can't forget about Diego Moreira. Like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah. So I think Aggi sort of went to a higher plane, didn't he, together? I think he used up his entire life's luck together.
The fans were going, probably like,
I really hope he hasn't peaked. Because that was, like, Moto2 is where he needs to be. I hope he hasn't peaked it in order to get there. And this is like the highlight of his thing.
Oh, it's only his second fucking race, dude. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what could be better than a front row start at your home race? Nothing he does now will ever be as good as that. Like, get it on his wedding day 10 years down the line. Yeah, this wasn't as good as my front row.
No, we'll get pole next year.
Yeah.
Because it's scripted. Yeah, so I want to just read out our predictions quickly as well, because obviously we do our predictions. I did actually ask Ryan to send in some predictions as well before the episode, so we have got predictions from Ryan. I'll read out Cameron's as well. So obviously Atai finished third, Guevara second, Foggia first. If you haven't listened to the podcast before, we do predictions each round and we score each other's points up for, if you get it right. So you get 1 point for any place. You get 5 points if you get the correct place. You get 10 points. Oh, shit. I haven't totted out these points correctly. 10 points for a correct winner and 25 if you get all three correct. I haven't totted them up correctly at all.
Yeah, you've got 10, haven't you?
I've got 10. Those Cameron right.
Fuckers.
Damn. Right, so I'm going to do this on the fly whilst we're here.
Oh, God.
It's all right. It's only for Moto3 that counts anyway. So I'm going to add an extra. Oh my. Right. Oof. Okay. Interesting. Right. So I went for Toba third, Garcia second, and Foggia first. So I got Foggia correct. So well done me. Jacob went for Foggia third, Guevara second, and Onshu first. So Jacob got 6 points on that one.
Yeah.
So congrats. I got 10 points for Foggia, just to point out. Cameron went for McPhee third, Sasaki second. So both of those either didn't start or DNF'd completely. So well done, Cameron. And then he got Foggia first, so he's pulled some points out of the bag there. And to be fair, Ryan, I'm quite impressed with that. You put Moreira on the podium before knowing you would get a front row start, so I'm quite impressed with that. And
winged it. Absolutely winged it.
Yeah. You should have put a bet on it. Well, actually, no, because it totally would have lost, but, Garcia second, and then Foggia first. So me, Ryan, and Cameron came out of that round with 10 points each, and Jacob with 6. I'm not adding us up each class because there's too many variables, so I'll just give the total points at the end of the episode. So, yeah, we're doing all right, I'm very, very impressed by Carlos Tatai today because he has finally shown what we've been waiting for. In 2019, he won the Rebel Rookies, dominated the Rebel Rookies, and to second placed Pedro Costa, who was a rookie at the time, and came second overall in the Junior World Championship. I've never seen a rider come that close to doing the double of the Chev Moto3 and the rookies. No rider's ever done it. He is the closest. He came in with such prestige and he came in looking like the real deal. But when he was with the Avintia squad, he never got it done. For 2 seasons, he I don't know what it was. He just wasn't able to kind of get it done as such. And, he had so much pace and so much skill coming into the class and obviously didn't do it. So to see him now finally just switch teams and get it done, you could see how much that meant for him in Parc Ferme. I don't know about what you think, Ryan, but...
Yeah. Like you say, he had a pretty solid weekend, and, you know, to get a podium...
He got pole as well, didn't he?
Pole and podium, yeah. You can't really... you could, obviously, pole and win, but you can't really, you know, ask much more, really.
No.
And yeah, it just, you know, it'll give him confidence, and fingers crossed he can now carry the momentum into Argentina and then across to Kota and then back to Europe.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth pointing out as well that he hasn't actually raced at Argentina yet.
Well, seems to go well on new circuits, so...
Yeah, good point, actually. So Jacob's having some issues with a dog, and I just heard him scream. But yeah, so it is good. I mean, Jacob is muted as well. So, but yeah, so it's great to see him finally kind of reaching the expectations. I think it's weird actually because that CF Moto squad the last 2 years when they were Bristol were kind of like back of the grid, and now they've got this 2 new riders. And obviously a lot of funding and backing from KTM. They're like right at the front now. I could see them really kind of pulling out some race wins this year.
Yeah, and also, yeah, I wasn't screaming at the dog. I was just like muting myself, angry. I wasn't mad. I was just muting myself because, like, come on, man. You know, sort it out every week now.
Isn't it? Well.
Yeah, like I'm much wondering if Red Bull are going to be regretting losing Tata, you know?
Yeah, because they dumped him before the season even started, which is a bit weird. I think maybe that's to do with his team. I don't know. Yeah, I can hear that dog. But yeah, I mean, it's strange. But it was a pretty good race. I think Dennis Foggia obviously just cleared off and is now leading the Moto3 World Championship standings. You know, he didn't really kind of do as we'd hoped him to do. That really did not make sense. He didn't achieve. Yeah, he didn't really achieve what we expected him to achieve in Qatar, but he's backed it up with a dominant win today and goes straight to the top of the championship standings, 1 point over Sergio Garcia. And I'm
it's
quite
alarming.
excited.
I'd be worried.
Those two are obviously heading into the season were the title favourites, and they're split by 1 point already. I think them two are going to be, but we can't forget about Eisen Guevara in 3rd place in the championship standings, who got his first podium today. Obviously, Jacob's non-stop hammering about him. And I think this is the momentum that Sergio Garcia needs. No, not Sergio Garcia. Eisen Guevara needs. You know, he got his race win last year and didn't really... He kind of peaked there and then teetered off later on in the season. But I think now Guevara, he's going to be a title contender. I don't know about you two, but I think...
Oh, yeah,
we're going to see him come out of the shell.
The title, isn't he? So, you know.
Yeah, I've jumped on the bandwagon with Jacob to finally listen to him, and I've gone for him in the little office bets on Mondays. I've gone for him for Moto3. So
yeah.
Nice,
good to see him up there. But what's going on in Moto3? We've had 2 racers and 2 runaway leaders, although Sasaki obviously threw it down the road. What's going on? It's not like typical Moto3 fair and bashing for the lead. We've obviously had the battles for the podium positions, but yeah, runaway leaders.
Yeah, that's a good point. I
think it's the early season funniness and
like,
when we get to Jerez, this will not happen.
Definitely.
But
I think that's it.
It's just
good point.
It's just a weird one for me. It's like it's you can do it early and late season, but the bulk where it matters, where you win the title in Europe, it never happens.
Yeah, I think that's true, actually. I think because it is kind of races away from home that we often see like these runaways. You know, I remember when Danny Kent was doing it in Argentina back in 2015 and kind of pissed off.
Although I'd say that, and then the record for the biggest Moto3 win gap is actually in Jerez. So what do
with Fenati, wasn't it?
Yeah, but wasn't it
Fenati?
Yeah, Fenati. Yeah, but it was damn.
Wasn't that like his second ever race in the class as well?
He'd from what I remember, Maverick Vinales won the last race of 2011 on a 125 and the first race of 2012 on a Moto3. So, and then Fenati was second in that and won the second race.
Mad to think like what he could have done in the sport.
But he still got the biggest ever gap. But it was wet as well, so damp, squishy, moist.
You're gonna trigger some people saying that word.
I don't even think it's that bad a word. Like,
I think, right, to go off topic, like the word moist, right? I think people only kind of go, "Oh, I don't like it," because it's cool to be like, "Oh, I don't like the word moist."
I think they just associate it with sexual things.
Probably.
Like, when in reality, a cake can be moist. And I mean, there's probably a very small minority, but you're not fucking a cake, you. So.
American, what is it?
Oh no,
American Pie.
Still warm.
But yeah, going back on topic quick. I'm impressed by Dennis Onshu for not kamikazing everybody off, to quote Scott Ogden there. He did well, but Scott Ogden was obviously mentioned about Yamaha. Yeah, it was good. Like, I was expecting a crash, to be honest, but I wasn't expecting it to come from Sasaki. I was expecting it to come from Onshu, who's... But I think that's good, though. Genuinely, I think that's good for Onshu because, you know, he has become known. Remember, you think back to Jerez last year. I think Onshu has definitely matured as a rider this year and has realised that take the points. I think he's looking a lot more mature this year, Dennis Onshu, and I really like that. He'll go and friggin', you know, screw me over now next time out, but I think I'm really impressed by him. Genuinely, I think he has genuinely matured as a rider now.
100%. He's Keenan's Turkish Warrior School does teach you to dive bomb, obviously, but
Turkish dive bomb school.
Yeah, Keenan Warrior School, but it's like it's a different Onshu this year. It's a smart Onshu. Whether that loses him his pace and as he carries on throughout the season and gets faster, he returns, I don't know. But if this is the new Dennis Onshu who takes the points, consistency could well be enough to win him title.
I like it. I mean, he came close to a podium, to be fair. Like, he finished fifth, but he was only within 2/10 of a podium.
Yeah, you've got to be in it to win it at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. He looked really good, to be fair. It could have been anybody who took that podium spot, to be fair, but obviously it was Tatai that got it, and I was so impressed by Tatai, to be fair.
I think Moreira would have been in the discune had his bike not broken.
Moreira could have run away with that. I'm not even joking. Like, Moreira could have run away with that.
I've never been more gutted to see a start line failure. 8 seconds off the pace, wherever it was, big. Like,
yeah, because he had to pull into the pits, didn't he?
Yeah, like there were a lot of pulling in retirements, which I'm going to suggest is attributed to the weather, because it was fucking hot. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
but then like
boiling.
The people who come from cooler climates, i.e., Scott Ogden, stuck it out, got points for it, win-win, like
Yeah, go on to Scott.
Yeah,
congrats, Scott. Woo! Like fucking 13th, 3 points on the board in his second ever race.
What a boy.
Amazing, man. And he's still like going on BT and criticising himself. I'm like, bro, come on, dude.
I like it in a way because he wants to be the best.
Yeah, that's the thing. He knows what he's got, if that makes sense.
Like
I respect it.
I was speaking to him and he was still like criticising his race start, and I'm like, well, yeah, but it's your second race and you're a rookie, man. It'll come. Like,
he went on BT and basically said, our first 2 laps, I've never been too good. Made an interesting comparison to the Chev and said, if you're not amazing in the first 2 laps, you're kind of 8th place. If you're not amazing in the first 2 laps in the World Championship, you're 26th. But I think that, again, that'll be something that comes as he kind of grows into his position in the World Championship. Yes. He is still a rookie, but I'm really impressed.
He didn't even do wild cards or anything. Like, it's literally his second race ever.
Yeah, straight up first race. Whereas then when you look at the rookies around him, you got Elena Bartolini, who's not a rookie because he's already done 7 races. Holgado did a lot of races last year. You got Agi, who did Mazzano last year. You got Battel, who did Mazzano last year. So for him to come in as a straight up banging rookie, never done a race, that's so impressive.
Yeah,
so impressive.
It'll come at the end of the day. And said like, the biggest culture shock is that they're on it all lap, every lap in the World Championship. Whereas in Czech, they can maybe just do it once. Yeah,
from lap 1 in free practice 1, they are on it in the World Championship. But that's great because it forces riders to adapt and grow and get better.
Yeah, Joel Kelso was a good example of that. He went back to Chev, a totally different rider.
Yeah, he did, and it was phenomenal. And there's so many standout rides today, but like on my ride of the day in Moto3, I don't know about you two, was Leo Bartolini coming home in 8th place. Like, I truthfully, hand on heart, didn't think he'd have it in him. Like, Leo Bartolini, obviously, he's a 2021 CIV Moto3 champion, so the Italian Moto3 champion. Yep. So he's obviously rapid, but on tracks he knew. Whenever he did a World Championship wildcard, never really impressed. You know, he did some races for the Snipers team last year and was way off, way down the order. He did get some points though in like 15th and 14th after a load of riders crashed. But obviously you got to be in it to win it. So to come home in 8th today, for me, that is my ride of the day in Moto3. Like that for me,
though,
so impressive.
My ride of the day in Moto3 was actually his teammate.
Yeah, got a point, Vettel.
If he hadn't fucked up the long lap, he would have beaten him.
Oh, he got a long lap, didn't he?
And then he fucked up the long lap and got 2 more long laps for it.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's the long lap was ultra dirty. I can't criticise him too much. It's easily done.
Well, the fact that Tata had a long lap.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll go for Tata, you know, long lap down to 14th, 15th, and then fought his way back up to 3rd. So,
but Patel still got a point despite 3 long laps. But he was in the mix with Bartolini. I'm 100% sure he would have beaten him and probably got top 6.
Yeah,
you know, but he didn't.
Well, like Bartolini and Vettel, I don't know if you noticed, like nearly every session they're glued together.
Yeah.
Both of them got through to Q2 as well.
Yeah, that's it. Like the VR46 effect, no. Eat, sleep, train together and stick together on track. Like.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by the Vintage squad. Like the fact they've got 2 rookies and like last year, not too impressive. Like obviously they had Antonelli, who's 10 years experience in the lightweight class.
He's the Italian John McPhee.
Yeah, but they're doing like better than I expected them to do. You know, like Vettel is like only 16, maybe 17. You know, he's so inexperienced, and Bartolini again, he's relatively unheard of unless you follow the Italian championships. So for him to come in and do as well as he's doing now, like, I'm super impressed.
They need to push on though from this because the Qatar they went nowhere. Neither of them.
When Jerez rolls around, I think we'll see a lot more. I think again it's a rookie kind of thing, but you know, Bartolini was really good in the Chev last year, Junior GP at Jerez when he raced for the MTA squad.
Yeah, he played on the front row, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. So there's shit ton of talent there, to be honest. I'm actually genuinely really excited for him and what he can do. Fallon, again, has missed out on a fucking point by 1 place.
Kelso still got a point, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He got 18th place.
He ended up 18th in the end.
Yeah, he crashed, didn't he? He was 13th or something?
Yeah, 12th. Fighting him with Nepa would have had points. Starting to figure it out now, apparently, so...
Yeah, because he had some issues, didn't he, over the forks and stuff early on.
Starting to figure it out now. So happy days. We should see more of Joel soon.
Yeah, and obviously Danny Holgado, top rookie as well. He looked in a league of his own again. He was battling with the top 6.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, he's the Junior World Championship winner. And yeah, he was in the mix. You know, he was what?
He looked every inch an IO rider, didn't he?
Yeah, you know, he could have finished 6th. He was like 7/10ths off 6th. You know, and he finished in 9th overall. Like, the IO effect, isn't it?
Yeah, IO makes good riders great.
Yeah, exactly. Have you got any more thoughts on Moto3, Ryan?
No, not really. It was apart from the runaway at the front, it was a pretty typical all-action Moto3 race that came out with some pretty impressive and rewarding and deserving results.
I thought Artigas did well to get to 6 as well. He was nowhere at one point.
Going back, sorry, go on.
No, Karen.
I was going to say, going back to mentioning Sasaki a little bit earlier on, that team has not had the best of luck, have they, with John's injury, just to kind of cover that off. And, Sasaki throwing away the win in Qatar and then absolutely T-boning Mino on the...
Yeah. He didn't even give Mig a chance, did he? Mino was still bolt upright. He hadn't even turned in.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on in that squad this year?
Yeah,
started out really promising, but yeah, it's not quite turned into anything.
They do it as Arco.
Yeah.
It's a story
Very
of
much so.
Sasaki and McPhee's careers, I think.
Yeah.
Starting off promising, and then, I mean, obviously it has only been 2 rounds, but McPhee, I think, what was it, 2
Well, he's
vertebrae
not going
or
to
something
win
like
the
that?
title now, is he? Like that's it. Now he will never ever win a Moto3 title because of his age. He don't get another shot.
I bet he's gutted sitting on the sidelines, though, knowing that he could be fighting in that, and he's not because he's injured like that. Oh.
No, Moto3 was by far the most intriguing for me. Like,
It is,
normally
isn't
Moto2 is, but Moto2 and MotoGP were both a bit meh. Moto3 was the one.
Moto2, once they hit, I think, lap 10 or 12, it didn't change from there.
Why in the fuck did they shorten the race? When Chantra set his best lap, like 2 laps from the end of the fucking race.
Because hindsight is a beautiful thing.
Absolute balls, I tell you.
Yeah, it's because they were worried about the rain. I think it was just to kind of undercut the rain and get him for the rain.
Well,
maybe
then say that. People would understand, like.
They're a bit strange, right? I think as well because of the tyres, maybe, and then the rain, and then the track surface disintegrating.
The official line was that they were worried about tyre life.
Yeah.
If that's the case, and we all know that's not the fucking case, and it was because of the rain, just fucking say it. People ain't going to be like, oh, you can't shorten the... Well, some people will because, boomers, but be like, oh, you can't shorten the bike because of the rain.
Can't shorten a bike.
Yeah, race because of the rain. You can shorten the bike.
Either way, if it was because of the rain, it didn't really work, did it, in the end?
Yeah.
No.
But if it was, fair enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because nobody wants a wet race on a fucking broken track.
No. Right. Should we move to Moto 2? So I'll start with the predictions. So in the prediction side of things, I went obviously Canet third, Vietti second, Chantra won the freaking race. No one could have predicted that. I'm not even. If you predicted
not
that,
even Chantra.
actually, fucking Liam predicted it, didn't he?
He did, but I think it was 100% a joke.
Yeah, I don't
There's
know how
no way it was legitimate. No fucking way. Like, if that was legitimate, he needs to go out and buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, one of our mates in the group chat predicted it.
100% a piss take.
Yeah, so I went for Fernandez, Arbolino, and Vietti to win. Vietti was out of place, so I scored 1 point for that one. Jacob went for Vietti, Agura, and Lowe's. Vietti was out of place, so he scores 1 point. Cameron is a freaking wizard. Got Canet third, right, so 5 points. Vietti second, correct again, 5 points, but then went for Augusto Fernandez to win, so doesn't score any points there, but scores 10 points. And then...
His best fucking performance, and he fucking anyway, yeah.
He's not even here to gloat. Thank God for that.
I know,
Thank
right?
God. And then Ryan went for Lowe's third, Costa second, and then Canet to win. Canet was out of place, so he gets 1 point for that. So me, Jacob, and Ryan got 1 point for that round, and Cameron got 10.
Fucking Cam.
What the hell, dude?
Fucking Cam, honestly. What a bastard.
Honestly, like, jeez. But Moto 2, again, like... So when we did our predictions earlier this season for the entire season, you, Jacob, and Cameron said about Vietti winning the title. I was like, no freaking way. No way. And now he's got 45 points in the championship, 9 point lead over Canet in second, and he's got podiums in both races.
First
What the hell?
First of all, I made one other prediction for the season
Odd.
which was who would crash the most.
Did you say Jake?
I said Jake Dixon. Now,
Oh, no.
I'm not one to kick a man when he's down. But, I said it on the Ask Us Anything pod last week as well. And again, I've been proven right. Not a top Moto2 rider.
Poor Jake. I was gutted for him.
I was
Did
sad
any of you
for
seen
him.
that BT interview?
I saw clips of it, and he did look
gutted.
like internally like he was tearing himself to bits. But at the same time, it's like, how often can you continue to do it before people start losing sympathy? If he was Spanish or Italian, people would be screaming that he shouldn't be on an Aspar bike.
What?
Because he's passport rider. Because he's British, he's definitely getting some form of grace because he's British.
Well, it depends who you ask, BT. But, I think he's he got pole position. That's not to be sniffed at. I think Jake Dixon this year is a different rider. He's a rider we hope to see in 2020, when he kind of came out of shell and looked really good and was like a top 5 rider, but then didn't kind of do what we hoped he would do in 2021. I think the team kind of took a massive step back last year anyway. And then now he's back in Aspar, or I think this year, this is the Jake we've been waiting for from his BSB days. The level that he produced and showed in BSB was high, and you can tell how much it means to him now to be able to try and be able to prove that he can do it. And, to come out with a pole position the way he did, that was superb by Jake. I'm really impressed, but I think he needs to, as an outsider looking in, maybe manage the pressure a bit better. Obviously he said on his data that, he went into the corner and it was identical. All the data was absolutely identical to the lap previous. But I don't know.
It's the same conditions for everybody. That's the thing. And everybody else managed it apart from Corsi. I mean...
Yeah, sometimes these crashes just happen and they are genuinely just unexplainable. I think, he crashed in Le Mans and that was his error. But yeah, I mean, what do you think, Ryan? Obviously, you're kind of big BSB head. What are your thoughts on Jake Dixon at the moment?
Looking at, practice in Qatar before, obviously, the lights went out and he got turn 1 and lap 1 wrong completely.
Yeah.
And then backed up with fastest on Friday, pole on Saturday. He crashed that second. He has the pace. He's demonstrated he has the pace, but like I say, he's just managing the pressure. And I think with Jake, especially this weekend, is he proved to himself that, okay, I have the pace to run at the front. I have the pace to win this race. Chantra's opening up a lead. I need to get to him literally at the next corner. Yeah. So I think maybe a little bit of red mist sort of thing, I need to get past Lowe's. I need to get on the back of Chantra as quick as possible. And then that's the small mistakes creep in. But as you said, and as Jake said, the data was identical. We'll never really know what was the exact cause, but unfortunately it's a non-finish, no points, and he's just got to try and carry the momentum from practice into to Argentina now.
Yeah,
I don't think belief is an issue with Dixon. He knows he can do it.
That's why he was.
I think he wants it too much. If anything.
Yeah, I think that's his problem. Is he knows he can do it, so he has to do it, sort of thing. Whereas he doesn't let himself build into a race, and he has to.
If he just gave 100% instead of 110, I think he'd be better off. Just go slightly slower to go faster.
I think it's the thing that a lot of riders struggle with is that sense of urgency. Like, shit, he's getting away. I've got to do this now. And I think a lot of riders, I'll go on to it a bit later on with Marc Marquez, suffer with that sense of, like, I need to do this now. I can't wait another lap to do this. I've got to get it on it now, which is why you see a lot of riders making maybe crashes, silly errors. Maybe a lot of riders crashed this weekend on kind of damp bits of the track, and maybe Jake could just hit one of those.
But at the same time,
we'll never know, I guess.
It's 3 years now. If you want to compete, you need to be cutting those mistakes out and learning now.
Yeah, I think obviously we are only 2 rounds into the season, so I think we'll get a better judge of what Jake's season's doing and the pattern he's showing by probably Silverstone, when he's had maybe a few more races in Europe. If he can come back to Europe, because he led testing as well, you can't forget.
Yeah,
he led testing at Jerez. I think once we're back in Europe, he can start to churn out the results. And I think once he's got that first podium, I think he'll do what a lot of riders will do, and he'll be at the front then, I think, from there. But he just needs to prove to himself mentally that he can do it by getting that first result.
That's what's so frustrating, is clearly he can do it. He's capable of doing it. He has the speed to do it. But right now, he doesn't have the mental side to do it. And it's frustrating because he clearly... he's come the different path of BSB. He's a great representative for the quality in BSB, but he needs to be proving it on a regular basis, and he doesn't. He's either mired or he crashes out, and when it comes to race day, he just can't knit it together. It's frustrating, really frustrating.
Not for the lack of trying with Jake either. You know, he spent
100%
all of
not.
last week with the Lincoln, was it? I can't remember which university it was. Loughborough, that's it, yeah. The Loughborough University doing heat training and training in like temperatures a lot higher than they were at the circuit for longer periods of time to make sure that he was ready and could tackle these conditions. You know, he is not just dossing about and putting in, you know, the average amount of training that a lot of riders will put in. He is going to the next level to try and push his results out. So, yeah, I can see why he'd be so frustrated.
I
was gutted when he did crash out.
Honestly, his commitment's never been in doubt, ever. But there's just something missing at the minute.
Yeah, he just needs that last. I think, like I said, I think that last thing is just that result. Once you can bang in that first podium, that'll be it. I think for me.
Do a Pecco.
Yeah, he'll just get that result and then he'll fly from there. But it's
right now, it doesn't look like he's going to get the podium. It's not happening for him, you know? Like, I hate to criticise as like someone who's stupidly quick, like Dixon. But when you've got that much talent, expectations are high, and he's not meeting them right now.
Not yet, but we are only 2 rounds in.
Yeah, but it's also followed the pattern of the last couple of years as well, isn't it? That's the issue. If this was, you know, consistently like 10th but finishing, now he's made a step up and crashing, you could say, okay, you know, he stepped up a level, but he's been this fast all the time.
Yeah, I think I'm going to disagree and say I think he's made a step and now crashing this year. But yeah, moving on because I don't want to spend the whole time talking about Jay Dixon. Yeah, bloody Chantra. Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, especially because he didn't even do Qatar.
Yeah,
you know, he still hurt. He still done his finger.
Shit hot. He was shit hot in the Jerez test as well. He led the Jerez test. Like, I think this is a long time coming for Chantra. I think he's shown flashes of speed the last few years. You know, he came from the Chev Moto 3 class into Moto 2 World Championship. And he, like I said, he showed some flashes of speed, and like some results here. Like, what the hell? What are you doing up here? But he never kind of proved it. And then suddenly today, he's just gone out and won a race.
The fact
Buriram's just sold out.
Yeah,
has it?
100%. No,
100%.
Who'd have thought that he would be the first T-Asia win, not a Gura? You know, it's just it's mental. But Chandra did say it in the Jerez tests. I need to make the step. You know, it's now or never. And he's done it.
Yeah.
The team as well, you know, they were saying throughout the winter Chantra's got a chance to win the championship, and everyone was like, really? Are you sure? You know, not to knock him at all, because he's a Moto 2 World Championship rider, but you know, when you're looking at the names on the entry sheet going, right, who's going to win this year, who's going to be at the sharp end, you wouldn't put Chantra probably in the top 3, but you know what, fair play.
If you had based the standards on the Jerez test, you would easily have said Chantra was going to win a race. But the Jerez test is not the races, is it? And nobody. No. If anybody had Chantra to win at any point throughout the season, bar in Thailand, you're a liar. Sorry, there's no fucking way. Like, you just
100%.
Like, it's just not. He's quick. Don't get me wrong. Clearly, like. But he's never really shown anything to could be considered in the conversation as a winner until now.
Like, he's shown like I said, like flashes. Like, he's had so many 4th places, and you're like, fair play. But he's never like made that step, and now he's made that step. And
how good was his interview as well after the race? He's off his chops. Oh, I'd be one. Oh,
it's so funny. Like, yeah, he's got a lot of energy. Apparently,
it was refreshing.
I was speaking to a Thai rider who was in Thailand at the time, watching it with a load of people, and they apparently went mental when he won.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, like this is Thailand's first ever World Championship win, isn't it?
Yeah, ever.
You know, this is history, though. We shouldn't really gloss over the amount of history he's just made.
Yeah, like, really fair play to him. I'm like, Yeah, I don't know. I've not really got words for it. It's not like he kind of won it on the line or won it because someone crashed. He disappeared.
Oh, yeah, he just fucked off, didn't he? Pissed it, like. It's mental. Like, what a way to win your first race. Like,
domination.
It's hard to put it into words because it was just so unexpected. Like, this is up there with one of the most unexpected wins in recent memory. Especially considering he didn't even race Qatar. Wonder where he would have been.
And Agura as well, his teammate on the other side of the garage. What was it, like 15 places he made up or something?
Yeah, he started P23. 15 places he made up.
To 6th place.
Yeah, like, Agura might be in the conversation for this title.
Yeah. That's 17 places, isn't it? If he started P23 and he finished 6th, that's 17 places he made up.
Yeah, that's
mild. Insane.
Like, he might actually be in the conversation.
Agura, again, is solid.
Which I was iffing and ahhing about including him in the conversation before the season started. 2 very solid starts to the, Okay, he would have been even better in the first race had he not decided to try and eat Fernandez's tail.
Yeah.
But it's like, god damn, like, both Team Asia boys they could do some serious business this
year. Yeah, for sure. It was 21st Agura started.
There we are.
But yeah, like, they're both just showing another level. Like, I remember when Nakagami raced for that team, and the team's not really shown much since Nakagami moved to MotoGP. And now, all year long, and last year, people are going, if Nakagami doesn't perform, that Nakagami seat in MotoGP will be under threat. Yeah. And then Chantra's just gone and plonked his name in the hat.
Yeah, like, instead of just one chaser, now there's 2. And it's like, especially with Taka's performance today, fucking hell, he's got to be worried.
Yeah, like 100% he's going to be worried. And it'd be amazing for Thailand to have a Thai MotoGP rider, and it'd be amazing to have a Japanese rider on that bike as well, a young Japanese rider on that Honda. So it's lucrative either way. And I don't know who I'd pick more to go to MotoGP, if I'm honest.
Right now, it'd be Agura for me.
Yeah, because he's been more consistent with it.
But at the same time, it's like, by like Assen, Sachsenring, Silverstone, by that point, if they are still in the conversation to go up, Taka's fucked.
Yeah, if Taka doesn't pull it out this year, he's kind of a goner.
Yeah, he's fucked. Like, if they're still in the title conversation halfway through the season, Taka's
be World Superbikes to you.
Yeah, Taka's going to be going back to Japanese Superbike.
Yeah,
be racing Nakashima.
Yeah, and obviously Vietti and Canet got on the box as well. 2 title contenders, like, especially Canet was no doubt from the start, and obviously he had his glasses and his bow tie on again in part.
I just want him to win though, so we can hear the story. I'm getting pissed off with it though.
It will just be glasses and a bow tie again.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking underwhelming, isn't it? It's going to be like,
is there a story?
Apparently there's a story behind it, but he won't tell until he wins.
God damn.
It's going to be like one of those things. You've got a, like, on a game and you do like a mission and then you end up just getting like 1 coin for a fucking really long ass mission. It's what it's going to be. It's going to be like, I just like the bow tie. Fuck you.
Yeah, because you can tell though, I think with Aaron Canet, when he's doing well. Like last year when he got on the podium and he did his part firm interview, he just spoke in English. Now he's doing his part firm interviews and you get in the Spanish bit at the end like he was doing in 2019 in Moto3. That's when you know that Canet he's feeling good and he starts speaking in Spanish at the end.
Yeah, I think
that's how I figure it anyway.
I think Vietti and Canet going into this season were the 2 title favourites naturally because they were the best who didn't go up.
Vietti and his long ass neck.
Yeah, he's like a fucking giraffe, isn't he?
Tell you what, Canet, for me, secured that podium in the first kind of couple of laps. Started 13th and he was in the top 5 by halfway through lap 1. So, fair play.
Yeah, quite legitimately. Like, the fact that Canet can now rescue a poor qualifying, which he couldn't do on the Boscoscaroo, that's another step. It's Kalex goodness again, isn't it? You know, like,
Yeah.
But speaking of Buscoscaro, Fabian Aldier, 7th. Fucking incredible. He's by far and away the best Buscoscaro.
Yeah, and I think, well, Furman came 7th, but he was 5/10 off, or half a second off of 5th place. And he's 16 years old.
Yeah, another one I've been squeaking about for a while. And
Furman lot.
It's been coming true at last. Like, you know, it's not a stupid call saying he's good, you know what I mean? Like, it was clearly obvious. And he did just
really well.
You know, you don't dominate Chev at any level, like, unless you're good. Even like the Chev when they did the Superbikes and the Z1000 Cups, you still had to be damn good to win it.
And Milo Morales.
Yeah, that's it.
Who did that? Who's now retired. So
yeah, at last.
Congratulations on your career, Carmelo. Yeah.
It's like, you know, you got to be, no matter how good you are, you won't win Chev unless you're supremely talented, even Chev. So then take that to the world level. It's an adjustment, especially because he came off the Honda 600 engine.
Yeah.
Now he's got a full preseason under his belt and is feeling it. A win's not far off.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, no, it's looking really good. And obviously Pedro Costa was the first rookie as well, back in 9th place with a long lap penalty.
Yeah, quite rightly. People were like, oh, what a stupid rule. Getting a long lap for crashing under a yellow flag. What do you think a fucking yellow flag's for?
Yeah, like maybe it wasn't his fault. And I think he did crash on like some wet or whatever.
Oh, for sure. But the rule exists for a reason.
Finally, some consistency from race direction.
Yeah. Like,
amazing.
Honestly, it's this, wave this yellow flag. What does that mean? Crash? Yeah. I mean, fucking come on. Like, you know, like if you were one of the people who are questioning that decision, then you are just a straight up idiot. There's no other way to put it. Absolute idiocy.
Madness. But yeah, I mean, it's
a bit underwhelmed with Augusto Fernandez as well.
Yeah, I expected him to
at least box. Like, bare minimum had to be competing for it.
Like, he didn't. Where did he finish? Qatar 4th.
Yeah.
Oh, he did get bushed out, to be fair, by Agura, like, but
yeah, but like, no, bare minimum on an IO bike is to be at least in the podium conversation, and he was nowhere near this week.
Yeah, maybe it's to do with the wet weather. I don't know. I think he's still a title contender, of course.
Oh yeah.
The rider I'm most disappointed by is Ben Schneider, though, starting 5th, and he finished fucking 15th.
SAG in it. What else could you say that? You know, SAG is probably the worst team on the grid.
Jeez,
and it shows.
That's a big call. Bloody hell.
And it is. Like, how many riders have we seen go to SAG, be okay, may qualify well, but then completely fade in the race?
Oh, yeah, like, what was it? 2021 Moto2 World Champion, Remy Gardner.
And then move to another team and find the race consistency, you know?
He did win a race for him, though,
on
this side.
Oh, yeah, like, Remy was an anomaly, though, wasn't he? Like, Nagashima, when he was there, would qualify amazingly, fade pretty much every race. Remy would do it a lot of the time. It's a C team. It is a C team.
Oh, could do better on, I think, a different bike. They are kind of,
a different squad.
I wouldn't say Sago the worst on the grid, but they've never been like a top bike. It's only when they had a rider like Remy Gardner that on a year-old bike that made them look better. But yeah, I would say that they've been back a bit.
I would. Like, you know, if this is in the MotoGP game, they'd be the cheapest to join. It'd be like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm starting to lose a bit of faith with Lorenzo Dalla Porta. Oh.
I never had it. Not this year, sorry. But yeah, it's not looking like Moto2 is Lorenzo Dalla Porta's niche, is it?
What about your mate Blamin Zaccone? You were like hammering on about him and he falls.
Yeah, Zonta beat him.
He did.
I've expected more of Zaccone.
Yeah, me too.
But he did also have nearly 2 years off a Moto2 bike.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is really annoying. But at the same time, I am expecting more of Zaccone. But, you know, again, second race, first season on those Triumph engines. It's come off Moto E.
Yeah.
Like, I think it'll come. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, the pace moves fast. The rookies are only going to get better. He's in that conversation of the rookies. He needs to get better.
Yeah, he does. Especially with Salah, who was outperforming him in Qatar,
Yeah, like Zonta not lost again as well. It's like, fuck me, 2 races now, 2 times the supposed worst rider in the field haven't come last.
Yeah.
Well done,
right, moving to MotoGP. On the predictions front,
fucked it.
Is there any point going through it? None of us got any points.
Well, I think people might want to hear who we said.
Yeah.
And I think on the dry, it would have made sense. Well,
yeah,
on a non-4-year-old tyre, but, that's better.
Yeah, exactly. The tyres fucked it for Honda massively. Because we all 4 of us, including Cameron and Ryan, put Paul Espargaro on the box, but obviously the tyres just fucked it for Honda massive.
Why in the hell did they change the tyres they tested on and clearly worked?
They brought 2019 tyres because they were a harder temperature.
Carcass.
They're built to last a higher temperature for this weekend.
But they've tested. They did race runs in the tested at Mandalika and they were fine. It's baffling.
It's a bit strange. I don't really know the logistics behind that, apart from obviously what I've just said. But yeah, the predictions, obviously it was Zarco 3rd, Quartararo 2nd, and Oliveira 1st. I went for Pole 3rd, Mir 2nd, and Luca Marini 1st. Anyway,
again, that wasn't stupid based on tests.
Yeah, no, exactly. Jacob went for Bastianini 3rd, which again, Qatar, if anything was to go by, it makes sense. Then Rins, then Pole 1st, again from testing. Cameron went Pole 3rd, Rins 2nd, Mir 1st, feeling Suzuki's. Ryan went Brad Binder, wrong KTM, but close there, Ryan. Marc Marquez in 2nd, and then Pole 1st. So we all got 0 points. So when you add up all of the points, Cameron is running away with it, man. I'll go from bottom to top. Right, so Ryan, who missed Qatar completely, is sat at the bottom with 11 points. Then it's me with 12 points.
That's embarrassing, that is.
I scored 1 point in Qatar, so...
Fucking hell. Ryan, you got him, bud. You got him.
I'll take that.
Yeah, doing all right.
Not bad, not bad.
I might have to ask you for your predictions every week, to be fair.
I wouldn't, because then you'd be 4th, you'd be off the box.
Then Jacob in 2nd with 14 points. So you're only 2 ahead of me. So that looks pretty solid. Then you got Cameron in 1st with 26 points.
Yeah, and it's not going to get any better next 2 rounds because it's, again, Cota and Argentina. Yeah, they're 2 anomaly rounds as well.
Cameron has got the same amount of points as you and me combined, Jacob.
Yeah. Maybe we don't know as much as we think we do.
Or maybe we're overanalyzing. I think we're overanalyzing it, and maybe just don't overanalyze it, because
I've never been accused of overanalyzing anything, so
no, that's fine.
I think you're right. I don't think it's going to get any better in the flyaway races coming up. Cameron might have a lead going into Jerez.
Oh, dude. But I want to start it off, the MotoGP talk, with Marc Marquez, who suffered probably the worst high side I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, 500 high side winner.
Yeah, in the warm-up. I kind of want to talk a bit about him. I'm going to make some controversial now. I'm going to say...
Here we go.
I think, genuinely, the racing gods are trying to kill him.
Yeah.
He had, obviously, the near career-ending injury in 2020. Then last year came back, did really well, kind of pushed it, and then had his eye injury. This year has had some horrendous crashes. 2 things about Marquez. One, we're seeing the 2015 Marquez back again. Bike's not working. Marquez is pushing everything to get a good result. Marquez today could have gone out there and taken fucking 10th place and 5 points, and he'd been way better off than not even competing in the race. I think Marquez has again gone back to this too ego thing of, he has to do it. He has to, push it. But I'm going to make the really controversial thing and say, I think Marquez needs to take a step back, look at the rest of his life. Now, he's having injuries now that could paralyze and, God forbid, kill him. You know, I'm going to say Marc Marquez, if he wants to live a normal life after this career, he's only 29 now, he should retire because
or
I don't
change
want
his
to see.
mindset.
I don't want to see him fucking die,
No.
to be honest. And yeah, maybe change his mindset. But even when he's just, you know, when he's 100%, he's like had that crash like in Jerez. I think the quality of life, you know, not eating out of tube for the rest of his life, I think he really does need to kind of do something. I don't know what you two think. I'd like to really hear both of your thoughts, but I'm saying it now. I think Marquez should retire.
Yeah,
just to improve the rest of his life, not because he's slow, but because, you know, he could end up in a coffin, and that's the last thing any of us want to see.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with your points.
Yeah.
But Mark is smart enough that he can change his style, adapt to a different machine, and realise that actually, you know, I don't need to be doing this. What does he have left to prove? That's the main thing.
He needs that 9 titles. That's all he wants.
Yeah,
10
he
titles.
just wants to beat Rossi, doesn't he? With the 10 titles.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do.
And he can't let it consume him, because otherwise he'll end up, as we've seen, in Indonesian airspace, upside down, and that just doesn't work. Like that was one of the most violent high sides I've seen on a modern MotoGP bike.
That was absolutely like horrendous. Like,
yeah, Michelin
so
need to take a little bit of responsibility,
like,
and say like, oh, listen, this is a 4-year-old carcass. Clearly, it's not going to suit a 2022 bike, no matter what.
Yeah, and like Honda obviously had massive issues with Paul.
Yeah,
it's just actually develop on this point that I'm making. Literally just had a message, like a comment on my phone from somebody on the Marcus post going, how long will this continue for? I'm genuinely concerned for the lad. And it's a valid point. Like, how long are we going to be sat here talking about Marc Marquez having horrendous crashes and nearly career-ending crashes?
There's a limit, isn't there? There's only so much a body can take, even one as, you know, historically tough as Mark's.
Like, what do you think, Ryan?
Putting both of your points together, you know, like you say, Mark, it always feels like he's one crash away from, you know, disaster.
Yeah.
Jacob says that, you know, he's got nothing to prove. He wants that 9th title. He's got nothing to prove. He's, you know, he's rewrote rule books, record books. Yeah. Rule books slightly controversial.
If the MotoGP comment section was anything to go by, that's correct.
He's
technically he has the 2013 with the rookies rule.
Yeah, he's you know, he's come in and done things that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, possibly won't see again.
Yeah, exactly. So he has nothing to prove. So, you know, you think back to the crashes that he's had. Mugello, you know, when he hit the wall. Sachsenring when his head was 90 degrees to the tarmac. Jerez, and then
mate, yeah.
Indonesia today.
Yeah.
Pang as well when he smashed his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's only so much you could do.
So, like, that Sepang crash was when he was playing games with Quartararo as well.
Yeah.
Like,
it's rare to see Mark lose a game.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on in his head.
Honestly,
at the moment.
Do you know what? Genuinely, I'm starting to think that this is a combination of his crash and feeling like he lost time, seeing everyone else get faster,
yeah,
and suddenly there's a chink in the invincible armor. Like, nobody in this, like, even today, put 2019 Marquez on that circuit with them, he still destroys them.
Oh, wipes the floor with them.
But this ain't 2019 Marquez. They, you know, suddenly the aura of invincibility is gone. And as much as I hate to say it, it doesn't look like it's going to come back based on what we've seen so far. If he can just, what he needs now is consistency. He needs people around him to realize that actually he doesn't need to get out there. Like, he doesn't need Puig in his ear saying, oh, go on, you can ride. Like, piss off for a start. Like, no, this is still a human we're talking about at the end of the day. And racing doesn't last forever.
Yeah, it's... like it goes back to my earlier point of being too eager, like what you've just said as well. Like in 2015, we saw him come into the season after winning 10 races in a row the year previous and looking absolutely unbeatable. And then this year, he's come back after injury and after an unbeatable 2019 season, and he's just too eager to kind of recuperate what he had and do what he used to do. And the level has stepped up so high, I can intertwine that with the point I was going to make it later, but I may as well say it now. The level of riding now is so high. Like they're riding in horrendous conditions today with like loads of riders nearly crashing, and there was only one DNF.
Yeah.
One rider crashed, which was Jorge Martin, who already had a previous near crash. Martin, probably on his second time riding in the rain. He's only just a rookie last year. The level of hard riding now is the highest it's ever been. Everybody on that grid can win a race, and everybody is so good. And Marquez has lost that 20% because of his injuries and things like that. And he's just too eager now. And I think that eagerness got the better of him in 2015 and could be it. I
think the main point that everybody's not considering with Marquez that they perhaps should is because of his aura of invincibility, we've never thought about his mental health until now. Mentally, it's got to be a hell of an adjustment. Crash it from being, coming from a records point total in 2019, finishing on the podium every single race, bar one where the bike broke, to then first race of the season, smashing your arm to pieces, having a massively long road back. Like, if he'd retired there and then, nobody would have batted an eyelid because it was so severe. But he wanted to come back, proved he could. Mentally, that's got to take a toll on you. Like, imagine, the darkest days where he was like, not long after injury, watching the races, seeing everyone take what he considers his rightful throne, wondering if he'll ever race again.
On top of that, he is a racer. He's going out to do his job. He knows that he's behind on the bike. He can't ride it how he wants to ride it. He's struggling with feeling. He has to find the limit, but then he goes over the limit, as we've seen. And then, the question is, how far is too far over the limit?
But he no longer has the capability of saving it over the limit.
No.
Like, this has been Marc's MO, isn't it? Of, here's the limit. I'm going to jump over it.
Yeah.
Most 99.9% of the time, he's fine. Today, he was not. And,
no.
Honestly, if you get a chance, go and see the high side, because, oh my God, it's one of the most violent crashes you will ever see.
Yeah. Try and watch it without wincing.
So, it's just, honestly, it's so alarming to see Marquez in this position because we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's worrying.
It's strange. I think one of the commentators said something about it being one of the ones, the closest they've ever come to dropping an F-bomb on the air.
Yeah.
That bad.
Yeah, Matt Burt said, yeah.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
It was. It was like, he was genuinely 4 meters in the air. Like, he was high, like legitimately scarily high.
Yeah, it was absolutely petrifying, to be honest. But yeah, I just think he needs to...
A time off wouldn't hurt him, in my opinion, right now.
He had too much time off, though, already. I think seeing Paul do what he's doing now as well, that makes Marquez go, shit, I need to kind of match that now. Marquez has never been beaten by a teammate.
The thing is,
ever.
Marquez, every layoff he's had has been enforced. If he just says, look, chuck Bradle on the bike for 2 races, I need to reset.
Has he got like a sports therapist? I'm sure he does, but I'm not sure.
I haven't got a clue. Like they probably, because everybody has one. But it's like, if
Echo doesn't.
True. If you said, put Bradl on the bike next couple of races. I need a mental reset or I'm going to kill myself. If Repsol Honda deny that, then where'd you go? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not going to do that. But like America's coming up in 2 rounds. You know, Marquez's hunting ground. I think that's where we're going to see the possibility of Marquez.
Even if he misses Argentina.
Be the real Marquez, you know, like he's always historically done quite well in Argentina. I think America, he came 5th in Qatar. Maybe this was just a bogus round. And he'll be back on it, in Argentina and then win in America. We don't know this until it happens, of course, but...
It'll be nicer to be back on the 2022 tyres, for sure. Yeah. But at the same time, he should have... this is an 8-time world champion. He should have realised that he was not going to be able to ride the bike how he wanted and just came home. Stay safe. Points on the board. I'm sure, looking back right now, not racing compared to maybe taking 10th, I'm sure he would have taken 10th.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Going on to like the actual race today, it's been like a tale of yin and yang, I think, for Fabio and Bagnaia. Fabio Quartararo, now, is one crux of the rain being weak in the rain. That's gone now. Fabio can do the rain, no problem. And then, hold on. And then, on the other side of the panel, you got Bagnaia, who scored 1 point in 2 races. 50 points on the table, and he's only scored 1 point. That is, he's down 20th in the championship standings. That is horrendous start to the season, whereas Fabio is 3rd overall. He's got a podium today after overtaking Miller and Zarco in the rain.
It's not championship form for Pecco, is it? But first of all, Fabio... weak in the rain, I am still yet to see pure evidence of that, because this track in the rain had an unbelievable amount of grip, which suited the Yamaha. The times were 6 seconds off the dry times, which is unheard of. This track in the wet is a very, very grippy and nice track in the wet.
Yeah, but he was, got a podium.
Oh yeah, he still has to.
In the rain.
Yeah, he still has to do it. Don't get me wrong. But the tracks are perhaps lower grip that are wet.
Like
he
Le
will
Mans.
strugh. Not Le Mans.
No, he got a podium at Le Mans last year.
Le Mans high grip in the wet.
No, you seen the fucking turn 2? What was it, the first chicane?
Yeah, but have a look at the times. They're like lower than the swing historically. Like normally when you're in the wet, you expect it to be 10 to 12 seconds off, don't you? So like this weekend to be 6 seconds off, that's fucking outrageous. And it suits a Yamaha.
I don't think that's correlated to him not being able to ride in the rain. He's got 2 podiums in the rain now. I think Fabio and his rain demons have now been washed away.
I wouldn't say correlates, but they've been 2 ideal wet weather tracks for a Yamaha, which thrives on grip. So
what do you think, Ryan?
He's made the most of it, for sure.
What do you think, Ryan?
I'm just enjoying this debate. Being careful with what I say. It was good to see Fabio, put it on the box in the conditions, but it still remains to be seen whether or not his wet weather struggles he has put them behind him and moved on. But at the end of the day, after Qatar, he needed it, and he went out there and he got on with it. And given the conditions, I think he'll definitely take 20 points and 3 points off the top of the championship. So,
definitely. Like at the end of the day, you can only race what's in front of you, and he raced what was in front of him to second place today, which is really, really good. Like it's just all the Yamahas proved, with Darren Binder, doing very well also, that it was a Yamaha track. It was, you need an agile bike, and the Yamaha was it. Compound that with the rain, suddenly it was a perfect storm for Yam.
Yeah.
And I think Miguel, as you said in the note, I think Miguel is a better wet weather rider than people actually have given him credit for. I think his smooth butter style has really paid off today with a win.
Yeah. I think Oliveira is a phenomenal wet weather rider, but
we just never really seen it.
Well, whenever someone says about a wet weather rider, they always point to Miller or Binder.
Oh, what about Miller?
To Oliveira.
What about Miller fucking arguing with Fabio this time now?
Was he?
Yeah, like now there's a new beef and just fucking Miller and Fabio.
I haven't seen that. What happened with Miller and Fabio?
I'm not exactly sure what was said, but it's like I think he took issue with one of Fabio's passes.
Because Fabio made quite a hard pass.
But a fair pass. Maybe look at, keeping your job before you bitch about someone else. Like, just saying.
Looks pretty good this weekend, to be fair. Jack Miller, I think he finished up in fourth.
No, like you expected in the wet, don't you, of Miller? If he hadn't been able to perform this weekend in the wet, he could wave goodbye to that factory contract. So he needed this. Like, this was very, very important. Same as Zarco, really. Like, Zarco's been in the doldrums a little bit, outshone by Martin. So if all of a sudden, Martin, is nowhere in the championship and Zarco's had two fairly solid finishes, he needed that, 100%. And Enea Bastianini still leads the title.
Yeah, he...
Wild.
I've just had a look. Miller did praise Jack, but said he was a bit aggressive.
Yeah.
Come
on, man.
Brad Binder had his... Brad Binder, I expected Brad to do a lot better, but then when you find out that his whole shot device was stuck on, then you're like, fucking hell. And then Darren Binder to come home in 10th place.
Like with Brad,
that is superb.
If they'd been dry, Brad would have been fucked.
He'd have pissed it, mate.
No, like if with his whole shot device sticking on, if it'd been dry,
his whole shot on,
he would have been fucked. So he can thank his lucky stars it was wet and he was able to ride. But I think a few people are going to be eating humble pie after seeing what Darren Binder's done so far this season.
Darren the Beast Binder, yeah.
It's
Holy shit.
Like, everyone had doubts. I think even RNF and even Darren himself would have had some element of doubt because it's a huge, huge step.
Yeah.
But, to be 0.1 off the start, the points in the first race, and then to back that up with your first top 10 and only your second race on a, let's be real, the worst bike on the grid, without any of the new parts, like, I'm impressed. I'm genuinely very impressed with him.
Yeah, I am as well. Really,
what I was seeing all the things of he was really fair to Remy Gardner. He kept right out of his way this race by fucking smashing him.
Fucks. Bloody hell. I was worried that he would like piss Brad off or knock Brad off, and then they show like the the dive bombs, and then they showed the clip of Brad dive bombing Darren. And I was like, okay,
that was a bit of big brotherly love, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was and then Darren looking over like, oh fuck it, all right then.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking have a word with you when I get home tonight.
Yeah, I really like that.
Honestly, I really am impressed with Darren Binder. He's showing that perhaps it wasn't as stupid as everybody thought.
Maybe Razlan Mazzali was right.
Yeah, maybe Razlan's actually a fucking genius.
He picked Fabio, didn't he?
Maybe Razlan Mazzali is like the cleverest person in the world. Holy shit.
And he's quite funny on that MotoGP Unlimited.
Oh, he does not like Rossi.
No, he does not like Rossi. Jeez.
I mean, I understand because he got completely snubbed and then all of a sudden he finds himself as his boss. It's like, that's a fucking...
Rossi, like, disrespected him. Yeah. And then...
That's like top 10 anime comebacks, isn't it?
He was like, fuck, we've got Rossi in the team now. Shit.
Yeah. Fuck you,
yeah,
man.
That was funny. That's so funny. But he...
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm actually starting to think that Rosali might actually be a lot smarter than people realise.
Oh, yeah. But one rider I am disappointed by a little bit is Johan Zarco today. He was good, don't get me wrong, before anyone jumps down my throat. Third place, really good. But so he got a podium, but he just didn't look to have the extra in him to fight for the win. You know, like he was sat behind Miller for so long enough that it cost him the victory. You know, if he had maybe gone fuck it, you know, and they were taking Miller a bit earlier on, maybe he could have fought for the victory. He had pretty much his best chance at a victory in a long while today, and he just didn't take it.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever coming. Sorry, Johan. It's like I'm hesitant to criticize too hard because of the simple fact that passing Jack Miller on a Ducati in the wet is no easy thing to do.
Yeah.
So for him to actually do that, he would have had to have taken a risk, which you don't want to do when you're looking to get onto that bike next year.
Yeah, when you're coming against Jack Miller.
Yeah, when you want to hop onto the red bike next year, taking it out is not a good look.
If it was someone on a Honda, then yeah, they'd gone for it.
Yeah, I'd have stuffed them easily. Like, in the end, it cost him second because Fabio just took advantage of them both. Like, it's
almost felt like Johan was slightly worried about, you know, doing a Bagnaia and Martin in Qatar.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
he probably was. To be fair, that's right.
Whether he's thinking about maybe, you know, a 23 seat already, but his attempted moves on Jack were
half-hearted.
He was almost like, I'm worried of, you know, pushing the front and locking it, so, you know, just let the brake off arm wide.
Yeah.
He definitely looked.
He looked worried
like
almost. He actually looked worried. Like, and worry as a racer is not good.
No, and then you see fucking Fabio come along and just first try, he's gone through it.
Yeah,
he's already making the overtake.
Yeah, that move on Jack at 11-12 chicane, that was pretty brave.
Yeah, like that's what Zarco was missing. That's what Zarco needed, was that mental thing of, oh, this is my position. If you don't like it, tough tits.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe it is just because of the whole Pecco and Martin thing, but he could have done a bit more, but
another rider
pace anyway.
Who really disappointed me come the end was Marini. He was in top 7, and then he totally faded. Like the gaggle caught him, and he had nothing.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he was running 7th at one point, like 3/4 of the way from the race.
Prior to the absolute downpour of Sydney, that the Mooney VR46 squad had a good weekend. You know, Bezzecchi was up there in FP4.
Yeah.
Marini was up there in the test. Yeah, he was 3rd in the test.
Well, Deck had to win.
But yeah, if conditions had maybe stayed a little bit more stable, then I think it would have been a much better showing than what I think they actually deserved.
Yeah,
but then
remember, Bezzecchi's a rookie. It's his first, Grand Prix in the wet, first time really riding the wet completely.
But the Ducati's, a good bike in the wet.
Yeah,
to be 7th and then completely lose it and end up behind the gaggle and unable to do anything, that's poor. Like, there's no other way to put it. That is poor. And the GP22 as well. You need to be better than that.
In contrast, the rider who impressed me was Rins, because he would have crashed, and he tried to crash.
Yeah, I don't know.
You see the picture?
I don't know if you've seen the picture, yeah.
That front is so far folded.
Gone. Because Rins last year obviously came a name for himself for crashing every 2 minutes. And then to come away with a 5th today in horrendous conditions and not crash, really, genuinely, solidly impressed by Rins.
We've had a flip of me because the two Suzukis were stuck together again in the classification. It just goes to show what a little bit of extra power could do, meaning you don't have to absolutely 120% it through the corners every single time.
And the Livio Super in the box.
Yeah, that too. It's like, suddenly you don't have to go over the limits of the bike just to pass. And it makes a hell of a difference, not only to your race, but your mindset of how to race. It's a good thing. Suzuki are looking really good, and this they could be a problem. They have potential to be a problem, really.
Yeah, they do. Fully agreed. Sorry, Karen.
So with Rins, I think time will tell. It'll be when we get back to Europe. Last year he crashed in Jerez, he crashed in Portimao, he crashed in Le Mans. I think when Yeah, when it gets down to the crash of Magello as well, final corner. When it gets down to the the more traditional circuits, when things start getting a little bit back to normal, let's say, that will be, I think, the telling sign of whether Alex has turned the corner and whether he can really bring a fight for this championship.
Because you'd see it on MotoGP Unlimited, wouldn't you? That's
getting
all
so pissed
Mia
off.
would say was, I can't pass with this thing. He had to literally yeet it at the inside, hope it's stuck. That's no way to race. You need to be confident in your bike.
And it shows the frustration as well within, Rins's crew chief and his side of the garage with throwing away results.
Yeah, those extra 30 horsepower they found.
It just takes the pressure off.
It can transform your entire approach, your entire race tactic. It's crazy that power is so not important while simultaneously being stupidly important. Because you can have all the power in the world. If your bike doesn't turn, you're fucked.
Yeah.
It's a real double-edged sword, and I think Suzuki might have the one this year.
I hope so, because Rins needs to try and fight for his career now. At the end of the day, last year, he ain't getting a new seat this year unless he somehow manages to really impress, and I think this is now baby steps towards that.
And the thing is, as well, the guy who everybody's tipping to go to Suzuki have won this weekend.
Yeah.
It's Rins suddenly thinking, I'm hoping Rins doesn't stop and think, top fives aren't enough. Because if you can string together top fives, like literally, if you can string together top fives every single race of the year, you're going to be in the mix. Because everybody's going to be inconsistent at some point. If you can do that, you're definitely in with the shout.
Yeah, the amount of crashes he's had from P1 is insane. Like P2, P3 podium position.
But again, he doesn't need to absolutely yeet it every single corner now, does he? Because he's got the power that, he's not going to come out of a fucking Qatar corner in second and end up fourth like Mr. Mia.
That's it.
It's way better.
Yeah, and I'm quite impressed with Franco Morbidelli. I think he's finally back. Is it safe to say he's back?
Yeah.
He's not back, but he's there. 1-2 in practice.
He's getting there, isn't he?
Yeah,
it's great to see.
Well, he qualified. He started for the race. He qualified in 12th, started in 15th, and finished in 7th place.
You can't, as long as you improve on your qualifying position, I don't think you can be unhappy with the weekend to a point, obviously. But I
think sorry, Karen.
No, go on.
No, go on.
I was going to say, I think in Qatar, Franco's result wasn't quite where he was. He said that, that first lap he was not aggressive enough. So this time he went absolute balls to the wall.
Yeah, he went hand, didn't
he? He sorted that one out, yeah, for sure. So I think a little bit more, confident kind of
that's the thing now.
In the first lap.
Morbidelli is probably the rider on the grid the most right now who needs confidence. Probably even more than Marquez. For different reasons, obviously, but he needs
obviously
it.
With Morbidelli as well, his weekend was hampered by not only a crashing Q2, but a 3-place penalty as well, which turned into a 2-place when Mark was out. But
yeah, but that's by the by. Hang on, Donna. Wait a minute. We all know how good Morbidelli is. Every single person who's even lightly associated with MotoGP knows how good Morbidelli is. So for him to come out here and start to improve again, perfect. You can't argue with that. MotoGP needs characters like Morbidelli because
he's great,
for all the riders who are up, they need those cerebral, chilled people as well to balance it. And
so humble, when he got his penalty, and he was like, fuck it, it's my fault, it's kind of thing. And I was like, fair play.
Most racers would absolutely argue with that and be like, no, stop, because of this. He was just like, yeah, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah, before we wrap up, because it has been nearly 2 hours, Alicia Spargaro, I'm a little bit disappointed by. He kind of became a wet weather master and always did well, and then finished in 9th place. He was in that battle between 8th and 12th place and looked pretty solid, but he just, I don't know, maybe my expectations for Alicia are a little bit higher. I don't know about you, but...
No, I agree. I think it's excellent that we are disappointed that an Aprilia is 9th. Like, if you'd said that 3 years ago, we would have been like, fucking hell, that's Aprilia's best finish ever. Yay, they improve it. Now it's a disappointment. That shows where Aprilia are at. Both Espargaros really underwhelmed. But both Espargaros at the same time, historically, have been reasonably good in the wet. Like Paul more than Aleix. So for Aprilia to come home with yet another top 10, considering where they were 3 years ago, I don't think you can complain too much. There'll be better days for them coming up very soon. So
yeah, I think I'd agree. Would you say the same, Ryan?
Yeah, to be honest, I did have a little bit more expectation for Aleix. He's 4th in testing, but it kind of underlines how much MotoGP was flipped on its head from testing to now with, the tyre changes and things like that, and how unpredictable it really is. So I can't really remember across all 3 classes from, the checkered flag in Qatar to lights out here in Indonesia today, the amount of like twists and turns that we've had across all 3 classes.
Yeah, definitely.
And it
A lot, isn't it?
I think
it sets up an exciting season.
Yeah, it does. Like I think the main thing as well to think is, barring Honda with their completely radical concept this year, Aprilia have the most different bike from when they last used that Michelin tyre. There's no way their current concept is going to work compared to the 2019 concept on that tyre.
That is a freaking good point. Once. No, that's a really good point, actually. I genuinely not even thought about that. Like the Yamaha is similar. Ducati is similar. Suzuki are similar. That Aprilia and maybe the KTM, to be fair, as well.
Even KTM are thereabouts with what it was, but the Aprilia and the Honda are radically different to what they are that year.
Yeah, and both of them, like this old tyre suited the Ducati and Yamahas quite well, but everybody else really struggled with it, with obviously Aprilia and Yamaha just absolutely falling apart at it. And
they had absolutely no data, did they? That's the problem. Like, because they didn't allow them to use a test, they had 0 data.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I think it's a great thing that we're expecting so much of Aprilia, because it's only good for the sport having yet another manufacturer up there.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's all we've got time for. I'm forgetting something.
No, yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Like, there wasn't really anything else to consider, was there?
There's one thing I've got to ask Ryan. So what do you think was better, the 2021 World Superbike season or 2021 MotoGP season?
Now, I saw this on
on my story.
On Instagram, on the story, yeah.
Bear in mind, one of us is going to hate you, no matter what you answer.
Bear in mind, from my point of view, didn't really care too much because of the manufacturer winning.
Yeah,
but
you got both titles. It was fine. Yeah.
MotoGP was MotoGP, but I think World Superbike for me probably top tier.
Yeah.
Just because Top Rat gave the fight to Jonathan, and it did go down sort of to the wire.
And it was insane, right?
Yeah, I think it's very close, but I think World Superbike did just take it.
Hell yeah!
Actually, while we're on it as well, before the season started, who were your picks for the titles? All 3 classes.
All 3 classes. We discussed this in the office. I can't remember. Moto 3 was Guevara.
Yeah, good boy.
Okay.
Moto 2, I threw 2 names in, and I'm not saying this just because of how it's going, but one was Vietti, and then the other one was Acosta.
Bloody hell.
I think you were in the minority here, Deck. Sorry about that.
And Grand Prix, I backed Martin because I've got him in the fantasy league. So.
Oh, fair enough.
Fair play. I don't think any of us... We all went Pecco, didn't we?
The championship?
Yeah, Pecco and Marquez, didn't we?
I went Marquez, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we're stupid, boys.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Haha.
The makeups
Right.
are available.
So, that's the end. Thank you, Ryan, for coming on as a super
Thanks for
sub.
having me.
A Scottish super sub.
Yeah, your input has been valued and appreciated, and like to hear. And yeah, we're back next weekend with, I don't know, maybe a rider that's coming on as a guest if we don't get cut down on.
If not, it'll be Argentina predictions.
Yeah, well, I'll probably do like if I don't know how I'll work it, but I'll probably do a separate, just a 5-minute episode midweek of our prediction. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast, and we'll be back next time.
All right, nice one, guys.
Very much. Bye bye. There we go.